Welcome everyone to Lights Camera Podcast, a program dedicated to all those cinema lovers. I'm Sofia Herrer, and I'm glad to be one more episode here with you. In this episode, we'll be talking about Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the movie that's based on Brian Lee O'Malley's 2004 graphic novel of the same title. As always, I invite you to get comfy and grab some snacks. With no further ado, let's get into this episode. Okay. This time, I do believe that there is not a single soul on this planet that hasn't seen this movie. And if you who is listening to this are that pity soul that hasn't seen this movie, let me just ask you, what have you been doing with your life, dude? You know what? Just stop, pause this podcast and go watch the movie, like ASAP. Go educate yourself a little and then come back, okay? I'll be here waiting for you. I'm not going anywhere, boo, okay? Okay. Another thing, guys, I have received some messages from people who've told me that I should give a spoiler alert. So from this episode on, I'll be giving a spoiler alert. So, if you haven't watched this movie and you don't want me to give it away, pause the podcast and come back when you're done watching it. After this spoiler alert, you're under your own responsibility. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Sincerely yours, Management. Okay, Scott Pilgrim plays in a band which aspires to success. He dates Knives Chow, a high school girl 5 years younger, and he hasn't recovered from being dumped by his former girlfriend, now a success with her own band. When Scott falls in love for Ramona Flowers, the girl of his dreams, he has trouble breaking up with Knives and tries to romance Ramona. As if juggling two women wasn't enough, Ramona comes with baggage. 7 ex-lovers, with each of whom Scott must battle to the death in order to win Ramona. Damn, I wish someone would try that hard to be with me. No one even, comes to my house, dude. This movie came out on August the 10th, 2010, and it's directed by Edgar Wright, also known for directing the Cornetto trilogy, you know, those movies with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, and Baby Driver, that I think it was one of Ansel Elgort's last movies, I think. 4 very amazing comedy action movies I really recommend you to watch, guys. Scott Pilgrim also stars amazing actors such as Michael Cera, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Anna Kendrick, Chris Evans, Brie Larson, Mae Whitman, among others. Now, one of the most important things about this movie, it's the impact it's had through the years. It's been 10 years since it came out, and people don't stop watching it. Neither have stopped talking about it and have definitely not forgotten it. So I would actually be surprised if there is someone out there who hasn't seen it. Yes, you who are still listening to this podcast and you haven't watched the movie, go! It's one of those movies that aren't simply forgotten, and I think that will go on from generation to generation as a great movie. And what makes this movie so great? A lot of things. And as always, I will be spilling them like tea in the afternoon. So, number 1. The movie feels like a comic. The fact that they were super careful with the details such as the scene transitions, the bubbles that describe each attack, or frames with the descriptions of each of the characters are very important. And most of all, the exaggerations that are perfectly transitioned from the comic to the screen makes it amazing. It's like we're watching a live version of the comic. It's really great. Number 2, the fight scenes. Believe me, I quite like all the fight scenes that take place throughout the movie. And what I like about them is that they're all different. None of the fights are the same as the other. For example, the scene where Sex Bob-omb fights off the twins, which were by means of sound waves that took wave from in a form of creatures. That was an epic battle, dude. I really liked that one. Or the scene where Scott fights against Roxy with the help of Ramona. And all of those fights give us, the ultimate climax. That's the last fight that Scott has against Gideon. if I remember correctly, it's a sword fight. So the idea of these scenes, these fights being different, give us like the urge to think like, wow, what's the other fight gonna be about? Is it going to be the same? Is the other X going to have like another superpower, etc.? That's why I like it. They're epic. Number 3, both its director and cast. First of all, Edgar Wright has a very iconic way of directing his movies, starting with the colors, the excess of light in each scene, to the way in which he perfectly directs each scene to make it look real and not only let the CGI do the job. He actually takes the time of not letting just the special effects do the job for him. So that's really amazing. That's investing, dude. That's investing right there. And well, the cast can't be better. Michael Cera is actually the living image of Scott Pilgrim, with his indecision, his soft voice, and his lack of confidence. In Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she actually surprises us with her role as beautiful Ramona Flowers, you know, that very mature woman. Like, I love the character. Or my favorite character, Wallace Wells, who is magnificently played by Kieran Culkin. This movie simply has an irreplaceable cast. I can't imagine any other actors. Number 4, video game references. And yes, there are trillions of video game references in this movie. From even before the title pops up, there's video game references, and I'm going to share some of them with you. Video game reference number 1. Scott Band is named Sex Bob-omb. This is like an obvious one. Sex Bob-omb, you know, a riff on the Bob-ombs from the Super Mario series. You know, you're likely familiar with the cute little walking bombs with the big wind-up key in their bags. Yeah. Number 2, the Pac-Man story. You know that ridiculous story Scott tells Knives to show off, and also Ramona to show off, which fails epically, about the origin of the Pac-Man name. It's actually true. The name was originally Pugman until someone realized how simple it would be to scratch off a portion of the P and turn it into Fuckman. Epic fail. They changed it into Pac-Man and a legend was born. Video game reference number 3. Stacy's rated T for teen. Scott's sister Stacy is older than his current girlfriend, but her stats show that she's rated T for teens. That's one of the ratings that the Entertainment Software Rating Board, the MPAA of video games, gives the rating to their video games. The ratings run from EC, early childhood, to AO, adults only. And as I told you, Stacy is rated T for teens. You know, she has that mild to moderate use of strong language and crude humor, but she's still appropriate. Video game reference number 4. Ninja Revenge. This is another obvious one. The Ninja Revenge is a riff of Dance Dance Revolution. But as far as I know, there aren't any evil clones of yourself to fight in the game. Although some people certainly play it at the skill level that Scott and Knives demonstrate. Talk about people who really like video games. Video game reference number 5. Crash and the Boys. What? You thought Sex Bob-omb was going to be the only band whose name was a video game reference? The first battle of the band sees them going up against Crash and the Boys, which is clearly based on the NES game Crash and the Boys Street Challenge. This is a sports game that sees you competing in Olympic Games on the main stage, where there are no rules. And if I'm not wrong, I think you can still find it on 3DS, Wii U, and Wii Virtual Console. I think you still can. Video game reference number 6. Nega Scott. You know, the evil version of Scott Pilgrim, complete with shadowy clothes and eyes burning red, is a clear take on evil doppelgangers such as Evil Ryu or Dark Link. But of course, Evil Ryu or Dark Link fight you to the death. Nega Scott seems just as doofy and awkwardly lovable as regular old Scott, and they just end up having plans to eat brunch, you know, just like pals. Now, I want to stop and talk for a moment about Scott Pilgrim. And is he the true hero of this movie? I know. He defeats Ramona's exes, and in the end, he stays with her. And he realizes that he did wrong by playing two girls at the same time, but, yada yada. But let's go back a bit. Scott realizes until the end of the movie that what he did was wrong when it came to playing with these two girls' emotions. Also, his attitude when fighting was not like he was willing to fight for the love of Ramona. He did it because of the giving situation and because there was no other way of avoiding it. The only fight I do think he was sincere to his feelings was the one he had with Gideon, but ergo, we return to the same first point. It was almost at the end of the movie. For me, Scott, he isn't a hero, but he isn't a villain either. He's just another character, but he's not cut to be out the hero. Maybe we could label him as an anti-hero. Maybe. Now, there's another thing I would like to talk about. I like to call this, love and times of Ramona Flowers. Now, after this movie came out, and until this day, I've seen enough posts from people who say something like, I would like a girlfriend like Ramona Flowers. Dude, if you find a girlfriend like Ramona Flowers, you'll basically be having a girl with serious coexisting issues and some spiteful exes. You do know that, right? Or people that say Ramona Flowers is perfect, but later you see them fighting with their couples because they're still friends with their exes. People, wake the hell up. You can't even let someone else look at your partner, or it freaking hurts that your partner still gets along with their ex and you're going around saying you want someone like Ramona? Really, with that attitude, would you be willing to fight off 7 spiteful exes with superpowers? No, I think you would. Stop being so pathetic. And now, I'll give you the rates to this movie. IMDb gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Metacritic gave it a 69%. And Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 82%. What do you think? So that's it for this episode. I hope you liked it. And what did you guys think about this movie? Was it good? Bad? Meh? Remember to follow Lights Camera Podcast on Instagram and Facebook to be notified of new content, to give your opinions, or decide what other series or movies I should talk about. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll tune again next week. Take care, drink lots of water, and keep consuming cinema. Bye!